This is Metal Mike, and in this episode of the 80's Glam Metalcast, we talk to the leader of Enuff Z'Nuff, Chip Z'Nuff. We talk about the new album that's on its way. We talk about some past members. We talk about some crazy-ass stories from the past. You're gonna love it. Check it out.
Chip, welcome to the 80's Glam Metalcast. How you doing tonight, brother?
As good as you guys out there, which is fantastic. Love your site, my friend.
Oh, thanks so much, man. And being a fan and hearing that from you, that's a real honor.
Well, you know, it says 80's metal, but I think it's a nice potpourri of pop, heavy metal, hard rock, classic rock underneath one umbrella. Your site poses a lot of nice little things, a lot of wonderful opportunities for all the bands that are out there that are already popular or ones that are just the newer ones that are being discovered every day.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times my site's called 80's Glam Metal, and let's just say I post something a little bit heavier, somebody will come back and say, that's not 80's Glam. Well, you know what I mean? I know that's the name of the channel, but I like all kinds of music, so, you know what I mean? Some other stuff's going to slide through there, you know?
Yeah, listen, there's too many names out there right now. It's ridiculous, okay? Everybody's swimming in the same lake, so I think that pop bands and rock bands and alternative bands and hard rock bands, I think they're all, in the old days it was under rock. It was real simple. Now you got to have 20, 30 different categories. I believe that's a shortcut to thinking. It's good music, okay? And it's left an indelible mark, and it's sold millions of records, and people should look at it just like that and not listen to a couple of jag-off journalists that say, okay, let's call us hair metal when it's not, because you want to call us bands hair metal. Well, guess what? Guns N' Roses hair metal, Pantera was hair metal, Metallica hair metal. The list goes on. Well, even though I don't believe that, we're all that close. We were flamboyant. We dressed colorfully, and you call it glitter rock, call it glam rock. Who cares what you call it? It's all good music at the end of the day.
I agree 100%. So, what's on the agenda for you guys this year? You got touring, new music. Let's talk about it.
Well, the crystal ball's got a crack in it, so I can't tell what's going on right now. But I'll tell you this much: there's a wonderful opportunity for us to go out and do some major touring this year. As you see, you got the Poison, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Joan Jett gig. Of course, Alice Cooper's out this year doing stuff with Lita. And then you can't go wrong with the Rod Stewart Cheap Trick. That's a great tour right there. Blackberry Smoke, I believe, is on that one too. There's so many tours that are going on this year, and there's a great opportunity for us to be on a few of them. So we'll see what it's going to be. I thought it was going to be Steel Panther, but those guys are tired in the frog's ass when it comes to money. Sebastian Bach, he just wants to go out, even though we were touring mates in the early days and we shared the same management company. I believe he just wants to go out with Trim because it's much easier on the eyes than looking at us guys. So there's other tours that have just popped open. My buddy at Live Nation has told me about some stuff, and some other agents have mentioned a few things. I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt our opportunities. I promise you we'll be on a major tour this year with a brand new record to support as well.
Well, that sounds good, man, and I agree. I think the whole Poison, Motley Crue, Def Leppard tour is good for all the bands of the 80s because it gets that interest sparked back up again.
Yeah, I believe that Consolidation is the name of the game, my friend. I think getting 3-4 bands together, that's what Live Nations is doing, and that's the way to go. And people get a bang for their buck. And look, for the people that can't go out and see the 2020 stadium tour, which I promote on my radio station, Monsters of Rock, every day. If they can't afford that because it's too much money, maybe they can go out and they can go see Great White and Winger, Enuff Z'Nuff, go out and see the shows that Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, those bands are out touring too, playing smaller venues, and it's going to be just as satisfying.
No doubt, no doubt. So, it sounds like you're working on new material, but let's go back real quick to the album you did, Diamond Boy. I've been jamming on that for a while, and I really like that album, and I didn't realize you were such an awesome singer.
I didn't know it either. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I certainly wasn't looking forward to this job, fronting Enuff Z'Nuff. If you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would have wanted to do this, I'd have said absolutely not. But the fact of the matter is, the band had to make a little change. It was a change in direction. Unwittingly, we didn't know we had to do that. And once we did, and we made a decision as a group to move forward, everything came to fruition. Found the songs, got in the studio, started recording them all, putting everything together. And it wasn't like the old days. Enough stuff would get in the studio in the old days. All our rock star friends would come by and see us. There'd be just so much extracurricular activities that I don't know how we got the songs out, but maybe they were the catalyst to these good songs coming through. Whatever the case may be, you know, I remember going out to California recording and getting kicked out of the studio because Alice in Chains was coming in and recording at the same place and going, hey, God, how are we going to make this work? And we somehow did. Got the songs on tape. We were able to come up with some great ideas, and I think that we come up with something that's very unique, yet still Enuff Z'Nuff. The next record, I think, is just going to be a juggernaut compared to the Diamond Boy record, because on the new record I'm working on, I got Ace Frehley from Kiss. Wow. I got Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, the Winery Dogs on a track. He's my cousin. I also have a couple guys from Cheap Trick playing on it, most notably Dax Nielsen, Rick Nielsen's kid, playing drums on a few tracks. So I think that we have Brian Ray from Paul McCartney's on the record too as well. We got some good guys that came on and wanted to sit in with us. I'm talking to Neil Sean from Journey too. He said he wanted to play it, but that remains to be seen if he puts his parts down because he's very busy. But the fact of the matter is, there's strong enough songs that we get all these heavyweight guys that come on and play with us, and I think it's one of our better records to come out in years. And we're coming off the heels of Enuff Z'Nuff 2019 with a record that landed on the Billboard Top 200 at 152, and that was a miracle in itself. And now here we are going back out again after a Live Nation tour around the country, and it's wash, rinse, repeat, bro. And it's not like the old days. We're actually in pretty good health right now.
That's great. You know, one thing I noticed about that album, you know, you're right. I hear the typical Enuff Z'Nuff sound, you know, the Beatles influence, but I almost sense some indie rock, like almost like Elliott Smith in there. Is that an influence of yours, or some indie rock type stuff?
Yeah, love them, absolutely. And listen, any bands that are melodic and colorful, I'm into. I love it. People have mentioned the band, you know, having Bowie influences, or, you know, sounded like Jellyfish, which is a band that came out at the same time as we did, and it's all true. You show me a musician without influences, and I'll show you a musician that hasn't written one note. We all love all that stuff is good. If we can somehow fit it in our category and our potpourri of listening pleasure, then we do. At the end of the day, you turn it into your own. I think that what we have is very unique sounding. All the bands that I listen to, doesn't mean we sound like them, but there's something you take from everybody. When you're a young little kid and your mom and dad are playing records, and you're listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, or Candy, or Black Sabbath, you know, you don't know that 20 years from that time, you're going to be hailing those bands beyond belief, because they leave an indelible mark. I think that one thing about Enuff Z'Nuff is we've always wore our influences probably on our sleeve, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I'm grateful that people are still out there and they want to hear real musicians writing real songs and playing. It's not manufactured like bands are now, where the producer comes in with the songs and they put it all together, and the artist all he has to do is sing, or she has to sing, which is another way to do it. It's fine. I'm not bad rapping. I just miss the guys who get together and plug in and play and sing. That's what I love to hear, the real bands. And there's still a few of us out there, and let's tip our hat to those guys, because it's not an easy job.
No, not at all. And my recommendation, obviously the whole album's great, but if anyone hasn't heard it, put on We're All the Same. It will get stuck in your head. It's a good one, man.
I appreciate that. Listen, you know, putting that record together, a lot of good stuff was happening at the time for us. It was a new outlook on life for us. We get a chance to do something we've never done before, and it was quite a challenge. As soon as we finished that record, we got the call from Live Nation to go out on the Great White Tour with Jack Russell. And right before that, we were out with Ace Frehley from Kiss. So we really were able to turn the screws, get the band tighter in the frog's ass, and get out there and play shows and meet all the trim that was out in the shows, and all the old fans that loved the band from our early hits from New Thing and Fly Michelle and Baby Loves You, and hear the band now with Diamond Boy and We're All the Same and Where'd You Go, and it's been a nice little slippery slope for us. I'm excited about what the future holds. We got a great band. Come see us live in concert, and I think that's the proof in the pudding.
What's Ace like to be around? Is he a fun guy to be around?
You know, he walks in this. Honestly, he walks into the show 5 minutes before he goes on. It's just him and his guy Jimmy, the ex-New York cop, who's hanging out backstage. Nobody back there. Every single show I walk back in there, it's hugs and kisses. He knows I've been a veteran. I've been doing it a long time, and I have nothing but respect for him.
Yep.
And we chat for a couple minutes, and then he goes on stage and kicks ass every single night. We warm him up perfectly for that audience.
So I got to bring something up, man. I want to say it was last month. Donny V was like on a tirade. I mean, what are your thoughts on all those comments? I know he said a lot of crazy stuff, and then he kind of retracted it. Do you want to talk about that at all, or what are your thoughts?
I really don't have any comments. Listen, guy's a quintessential singer of our generation, one of the best. I would love him for people to discover that. We gave it a lot of years of our lives together, loyal beyond belief. I took a lot of beatings there. At the end of the day, we wrote some wonderful songs, produced some great records together. I want to focus on the glass half full, not half empty. I wish everyone well out there. No matter if you sling mud, make sure you don't live in a glass house.
Yeah, that's a great attitude, man. That's a great answer. And, who knows? It maybe someday you guys could do something together down the road. Do you object to that?
We were offered a huge deal for a big festival company that came to us and said, I want to put the band together. Obviously, there's only a few of us that are left that would be able to do that. Vicki Foxx, the original drummer of Enuff Z'Nuff. He really wasn't the original guy, but he was the first guy on the hits. First guy's name was B.W. Boski. I don't know what he's doing now, but he was a wonderful singer-songwriter. But he left the band in the early days. Vicki Foxx took his place. Donny V, myself, and of course the late great Derek Frigo. Yep. And the original guy before Derek Frigo is the guy I have in the band right now. His name is Alex Kane. He used to sing in Life, Sex, and play guitar in Life, Sex, and Death. He's the original guy. But the company, in a nutshell, said, Chip, 40 grand, come on out there. Donny V, you, John Carl Monaco, and Vicki Foxx. And I called Fox, the first guy I called before anybody else. And Fox goes, you really want to sit down and do that again for a couple weeks and put up with his shit? And I thought, maybe he's right there. Maybe after it's all said and done, it's better off to leave it the way it was right there. We made some great records, left an indelible mark, and I'm proud of that right there. And now it's a new chapter. When the great Genesis broke up, Peter Gabriel left, Phil Collins took over lead vocals. I'm not comparing myself to Phil Collins, but the situation I am. And that's where we're at right now. It's a new chapter in Enuff Z'Nuff's career. Those songs were great. I play him live in concert. He'll be able to collect chips the rest of his life on those. I'm keeping the music alive that we've created together. I think I'm doing my part. There's no need for me to go out there and just take the money from the fans and give them a half-ass show. I want it to be great every night, and guess what? Come see us in concert, because it is.
Speaking of Vicki Foxx, that's a guy I haven't seen do anything in many years, and I thought he was great in Enuff Z'Nuff, and I thought he kicked major ass on the Vince Neil solo albums, but then he's kind of just, yep. I haven't heard or seen of him in many years. What's going on with him?
He had a band called the Veronicas from Australia. They were terrific. He played in that for a good 6 or 7 years, made a Brinks truck full of money there, and then ended up just getting out of it and basically not retiring, but just spending more time with his family. Mm-hmm. And last time I seen him, we were playing the Whiskey. He came out. We hung out for a little while. He's doing just fine right now. Don't feel sorry for him. If you pushed him up his wall, he'd break his neck. He's got a Brinks truck full of money. He still has the look of the world, still playing his ass off. He's doing just fine. And right now he's touring with a band called Pretty Boy Floyd. So.
Oh, okay. He's with Pretty Boy Floyd. Nice.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yeah.
So it's the 80s Glam Metalcast, so we have to talk about the 80s. Let's go back to your debut, man. What are your memories of that? What a great album.
Pretty good memories, actually. I wasn't the one drinking and doing all the cocaine, so I was in pretty good shape there. And I'm not blaming my band either. Management company, everybody was completely out of control on that record. We were hanging out in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Wonderful times there. We were in a studio recording at 2 o'clock in the morning after Adria Blue and the Bears or Skid Row, whoever was in the studio at the time, would leave. We'd sneak in there, and my buddy would come in there with an ounce of cocaine. We'd have tons of booze, absinthe, Jameson, Jack Daniels, tequila, a Brinks truck full of pot that my buddy would bring me from the Blackjack gambling club that was out there in Lake Geneva, this big gang. And that's what we do every single night from 2 to 7 o'clock in the morning. We just record songs. We record that whole fucking album in less than a week. Higher than sin, okay? Beyond belief. I remember one night going out to the horses stable and taking a horse and walking through the drive-thru, ordering food on a horse, okay? Got a lot of trouble for that, I gotta be honest with you. We snuck the horse into the hotel room, actually, after we got our dinner, and then the horse shit all over all the hallways and everything. You know, we had to push his head in to get him in the room. It was terrible. But we love horses and we love animals, and we ended up, after the horse left Esterman through the whole hotel, we ended up getting the horse out and bringing him back to the stable, but we were fined a ton of money, and the cops were on us, watching every single move we made. And it hurt us in the nighttime recording that record, but most of it was recorded in the first week or two, so we got most of our stuff done. And then James Addiction was in there. They were doing Nothing Shocking, mixing that record there. So we had to really work fast to get all our parts out of the way before we could move on. We hired a guy named Paul Lanny, who did Peace Sells Who's Buying by Megadeth. He also worked with Bon Jovi, too. He came in there and mixed the record up. He was terrific. I kept him hired and sent on pot for the whole week. And 10-song record, mixed in 10 days.
Wow.
Derek Shulman or anybody from the Atco Records never came down one time to hear the record. They believed in what they loved our demos so much off the 4-track and 8-track demos that we recorded at my house that they never bothered coming to Lake Geneva one time to do the record or deal with Skid Row. And that was fun. At the end of the whole thing, Donnie went in the refrigerator, took a bottle of Dom Perignon that was Skid Row's that they were celebrating for finishing the record, drank the whole thing. Then the band came up to me, Sebastian goes, "Hey man, what happened to our champagne, bro?" And I always got along with that big Viking. Well, he's a good singer and a real rock star back then. And I said, "Hey bro, I don't know anything about the fucking drinks because I'm not cocktailing, but I'll talk to my guys." And Snake came over, and Donnie took a $100 bill, licked it, and stuck it to Snake's forehead and said, "Here, this should cover that bill, my friend." And it did. And everything was good. I don't know. We only played a few shows at Skid Row. We never did a big tour with them because when their record came out, Bon Jovi ended up taking them out on tour because they shared the same management company, and the rest is history. Maybe we were a little nicer, we would have got the Bon Jovi tour instead, and things would have been a little different for us.
Who did you tour with on that tour, Chip?
We went out with Mr. Big.
Oh, okay.
And then we went out, and then we only did like about a half dozen dates though with Mr. Big, and then we went out with the full-fledged tours of the band called Badlands.
Yeah.
There's Jay Keeley and Ray Gillen and the drummer from Kiss and Greg Chase, and that was the band. And they gave us a lesson every single night showing how to kick ass. And they were pretty focused, and both bands were doing very well. But we had a little bit more MTV play. There was a guy named Rick Krim at MTV that really believed in Enuff Z'Nuff. And he got our video in a rotation, and then of course the fans, they went crazy. This band, they got the look of the world, and they wanted to see us. And every show we played with Badlands was completely sold out. We were only doing 800 to 1,500 seaters. They weren't real big places, but they were very well attended. TV, such a powerful medium, really did well for us. And at the end of that tour, we were doing better than Badlands, even though they were the headliners.
Yeah,
it was great for us. Like a really great learning experience for us. Both bands on a tour bus. One band out there just traveling around with cases of water, and the other band with cases of booze and cocaine. It's unbelievable the difference between both bands. But man, what a double mark that we left at those times. Those fans still come out to the shows to see us to this day, my friend.
Nice. So, I think you're right. I mean, MTV was very kind to you guys, played you a lot. And you got to admit, I mean, you were the only guys that were kind of intermixing the glam with the psychedelic. I mean, there's nobody else did that before you that I know of.
No. Yep. We took a lot of chances back then because we weren't looking at anything but trying to be true to our arts. And we were a colorful, flamboyant band in the beginning, and we wanted to expose that. That's all. And maybe because of that, that was one of the reasons that MTV was kind enough to give us a chance and add our videos to their playlist, because if we would have came out in jeans and T-shirts, maybe it would have been you two today. I'm serious. You don't really, you never know. I just know that we might not even be talking right now by jeans and T-shirts on back then, because that wasn't our look. But perhaps, because we were colorful and flamboyant, people were listening with their eyes instead of their ears, and sometimes that could hurt a band in the long run.
So you do Strength next, and I think obviously your debut may have sold a little bit better because of the times, but I think most people think this is a more, a better album, a more mature album. What do you think?
Well, it certainly was. We had a bigger budget because the first record went gold, so the record company gave us a little bit more chips to throw into making a record, and we did this. We took the same approach we took on the Strength album as we did on the first album, which was the band going in live, doing the basic tracks, playing together as a band. Nobody does that anymore, really. A handful of bands do that now. There's no Pro Tools back then. It was nothing but 2-inch tape, big reel-to-reel tapes. And we all plugged in at the same time, count the song off, 1, 2, 3, 4, start and play. I think that was special. I think that's missing in rock and roll in this day and age. And the ones that do play like that, like Rival Sons or Greta Van Fleet, they're doing pretty good. They're actually moving the numbers and pushing that needle forward. So got to hail those bands for that. I like to see live, and I like to see a band that was focusing on writing great songs first, because no need to go in the studio and play unless you got songs.
Yeah, man, and that's what's key with you guys. Like we said, it's not just a look. I mean, the melodies, the songwriting is so good. I mean, like Baby Loves You, that should have been a hit, Chip. That should have been a hit.
Well, I guess it was in some ways. In some places, it was a top 100 hit.
Should have been a top 40.
A lot of bands got airplay nowadays.
I think it should have been top 40.
Maybe there's a band out there, my friend. Maybe there's another group out there that will want to re-record that song one day. That's the great thing about music. You never know who's going to come out of the woodwork and go, "Hey, let's do this song again. Give it another chance."
Yeah, exactly, man. Because that could be a number one hit in my opinion. I mean, that's a catchy, well-written song.
Your lips to God's ears.
So you played on Letterman a couple times, and there's one time I was watching this video, and Vicki Foxx is playing like a guitar, and it's not even plugged in. So what was the deal? Why did Letterman's band always try to infiltrate the bands that played? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, Paul Schaefer and again Will Smith, Will Lee, a bass player, they were big Enuff Z'Nuff fans from the first time going on a show. And basically, when you go on Letterman's show, they only want the main cast. So say it was the Black Crowes we're talking about, they would just grab the brothers, If it was Plan Page, they get those cats. If it was Rick Nielsen and Robin Zander, that would be it usually. They just want to grab a couple of guys. That's the way they usually wanted to do it. We talked them into it. Morty was the producer, and he was kind enough to go, "Okay, you could bring your guys with." And when I told him, I said, "Yeah, Vic will just play guitar." And I talked to Fox. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'd rather play guitar anyway," so it was good.
So he wasn't pissed off then, by any means.
Nobody was pissed off. They would have been pissed if they had to sit home and watch Donny and I do it.
Yeah, for sure. But then, hey, man, you got Anton Fig on the drums, and that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Anton Fig. Good guy. I've always gotten along with him. He's a sweetheart, man. And I remember because of that session, Richie Scarlett, who played with Ace Frehley for years, hired Donny to redo and produce Fly on Michelle. And Donny came in there, and evidently they didn't have a good experience. They were, for some reason, they were button heads. Maybe it was too much partying, too much loudmouth soup, whatever the case may be, and Donny ended up getting fired on that project. And I remember he was playing drums on it. And he's such a great drummer. I mean, a wonderful guy to play with. But the moments we did on a TV show, you only get 5-10 minutes to learn the songs and play it. But he had his shit together. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he had a great, wonderful sense of balance. Real honor to play with him and with all those guys on Letterman's show. And they're still friends to this day.
Yeah, it's funny when you go back and you hit YouTube and you look back at Letterman or Arsenio Hall. I mean, it's crazy how many hard rock acts were getting put on the late night TV shows. You definitely don't see that as much anymore. No, it's really hard to get on those shows too. I mean, there's so many parts to trying to get on these TV shows. I don't care if you're talking about going on the King of All Media, Howard Stern show, or a Man Cow show in Chicago. Unless you have contacts and friendships
That's what it's all about. Everything's predicated on friendships and relationships on all those shows. They're very, very difficult to move forward, but if you can get a chance and get on the show, you can change the trajectory of any band or any career out there that you're trying to work on. I'm telling you right now, it's all about, at the end of the day, being friends with people.
No doubt. Well, hey, man, what do you want to say to all the fans that have been following you all these years?
Listen, I appreciate everybody that's been great to the band. I want to wish everyone a wonderful 2020, and may the best thing that happened to you last year be the worst thing that happened to you this year. I'm going back in the studio right now. I'm working out of Stonecutter Studio with a guy named Chris Diamonds, and I'm mixing a new Enuff Z'Nuff album. I hope to have it out in May or June of this year. And everybody follow us, ENUFF, ZNUFF.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. And I hope to see all your brothers and sisters at the shows, because I'll be on a tour announcing it very soon. So check the website and you'll see what we're doing, okay? Thanks for talking to me, too. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for all the sharing of my stuff that you do on Twitter, and I wish you lots of luck with all the touring and the new album.
Your lips to God's ears. Thank you, my friend.
Rock on, bro. Talk to you.
Oh, man, that story about the horse, every time I hear that, I die laughing. I hope you enjoyed it, too. So, a lot of episodes are coming up, so you know what you need to do? You gotta subscribe. Hit the button. Rock on!